CMPRadio.net, the voice of Chester.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Parenting with Purpose. I am your host, Donna Janelle, where we strive and aim to bring back the responsibility, nobility, and beauty back into parenting. As you know, as I always say, parenting is not for the weak. It is a hard knock life out here for us parents. Listen, it takes a village to raise children, but us parents need a village too, because kids be doing kid stuff all the time, right? And life be lifing. So again, we're here. You know, parents are the bows and our children are the arrows, so they will land wherever we aim them. May not be today, may not be tomorrow, but eventually they will aim where they will land where we aim them. So here at Parenting Purpose, you know, we bring all different type of topics, very engaging conversation. We talk about what you don't want to talk about. You know, parenting is a hot topic right now because there's so many things that go on with our children with their mental health, their physical health, their emotional health, right? Parenting is not just about food, clothes, and shelter anymore. It's not about, you know, you could be seen but not heard, right? Parenting is different. We talk about the emotional, the intellectual growth, the financial, every part of parenting is rough out here, right? So there's not really a quote-unquote handbook for parenting. You know why? Because every child has a different personality. Every parent has a different personality. But there are some guides that help us, you know, gear our children to the right place and also gear ourselves and help better equip ourselves, right? Because knowledge is power. So the more we know, the better we become. The more we know, the better we do, right? So here at Parenting with Purpose, that's what we aim to do. I aim to help you, help me, and we in this thing together, right? As I pray for you, you'll pray for me, because I'm in the house of teens, right? 3 teens right now, and 2 15-year-olds and 7-year-old, and teens, whoo. Let me just, everybody take a moment of silence for parents who are parenting teenagers. Breathe in. And breathe out. All right, we all together, right? So tonight, the topic tonight is, you know, I have my daughter who's my guest here. Welcome to the show, Danae. As you all know, I always talk about my daughter that tests my inner gangster, right? She act like she don't know where I'm from or what I got going on. So she is on the show tonight. I wanted to bring her in for this engaging conversation, right? Tonight topic, she named it as Inside the Teenage Brain, right? That comes in all types of different things. What's up, Danae? How you doing?
Hey.
Are you happy to be on the show?
Of course.
Of course. So we're talking tonight about teens, specifically teens, because right now there's a lot of things going on. I've had so many statistics about the teen life, but I want to get into with Danae about what is actually going on out there in the teenage world, because we as parents, we have one perspective, we see one thing, and you know, our children don't share everything with us, but there's a lot going on. For example, I'm going to just break down some statistics, right? 85% of high school students have experienced peer pressure. That's what we're talking about tonight, peer pressure, right? 28% of teens say they have been given into peer pressure to move up the social ladder. Now, we know everybody wants clout, right? We know everybody wants to be about, yeah, I said clout. What's wrong? You got a problem with me saying clout? I'm too old to say clout or something?
Yes.
Oh, clout has an age limit?
Yes.
Oh, wow. See, that's what I'm talking about. Clout got an age limit. Okay, it's in the dictionary, but it's an age limit, huh?
Correct.
So what am I supposed to say as an adult?
Attention.
Attention. Every kid want to go up the attention ladder?
Yeah.
All right, next thing you know, it says, hold on. 70% of teen smokers started due to peer pressure. Basically, they're saying that their peers pressured them to smoke. 70%, that's a lot. 20% of teens felt pressure to drink. So we're not even just talking about smoking, we're talking about drinking too. 1/3 of teenage boys felt pressure to engage in sexual activity. 23% of teen girls felt pressure to engage in sexual activities. 1 in 5 teenagers have had sex before the age of 15, y'all. 1 in 5 girls have had sex before the age of 15. Whoosh. By age, I almost went and started speaking in tongues in here, y'all. By age 15, 1 in 3 teens have had 1 or more alcohol drinks. Okay, it's the key number 15. This is all happening before 15. Drug use has rose 61% among 8th graders. Suicide is the second leading cause of death among young people ages 15 to 24. Nearly 20% of high school students report serious thoughts of suicide ideations, it's in my mind, and 90% have attempted to take their lives. Now, that's a lot of statistics out there, right?
Right.
So, I don't even know where to start at. Where do you want to start at? What you think? Let's go with peer pressure. Tell us about peer pressure. What is like? I mean, I've had peer pressure growing up, but I believe the peer pressure that we dealt with as adults when we were younger is totally different than you guys did. I don't remember peer pressure into having sex or doing drugs or drinking. I don't even think we thought about drinking at all. I mean, I've seen people do drugs. I heard about people do drugs, but it wasn't like I was around people to say, listen, this is what I'm doing this, you want to get in on it. But it's different now. Tell me about how peer pressure is right now.
Well, with like drugs and alcohol, it's not really like, oh, you should do this because it'll make you cool. It's more like, oh, I see my friends doing it, I want to do it too. They seem like they're having fun. I need I need to escape from like whatever's going on within school or within my household. So I'm going to drink, or I'm going to do drugs, or I'm going to smoke, or that.
So you think that one is being cool because your friends are doing it, and then the other issue is you have issues, so you would use this as a way of escape.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. But let me ask you a question: where did drugs and stuff come from? Like, how do people get this drugs?
Dealers.
Dealers. She said dealers. All right. What kind of drugs are we talking about now? I mean, we talking about like the horror stuff, or we talking about cannabis? Like, what are we talking about?
It truly depends on people. Like, I know somebody who's on crack.
Wait, hold up. Where's my flag at, y'all? Flag on the play. You just told me you know somebody who smoked crack.
Yes.
How old is this individual?
16.
16.
And but like most of the time, it's like, nicotine or weed or like perks.
Perks? Kids doing perks too? Oh, wow. So these kids got jobs?
Most of them.
Because I'm trying to figure out, that's some expensive drugs. Like, that's not cheap drugs. You're talking about crack, you're talking about perks. Like, these kids are really out here doing that?
Yeah.
Wow. So is it like somebody, I mean, I'm just trying to figure out how to even get these drugs. How do people just get them? I know you said dealers, but like there's dealers like at school and in the community, like selling it to other kids? Mm-hmm. The people can't see.
Oh, yes. Mm-hmm. There's like people in the community like, oh, okay, if you give me this amount of money, I'm going to give you this. And,
It's really a drug exchange.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So all right, so that's around you. So all right, how about alcohol? Why?
Alcohol is mainly at like parties.
Okay.
Or like school events, like homecoming and stuff.
The school don't provide that?
No. They sneak it in.
They sneak it in. So all right, so you said that all right, because flag on the play, I'm really trying to understand this. A lot of teenagers do drugs and alcohol because they see their friends are doing it, right? And they feel like it makes them happy. Like, I mean, because I've seen people who's on drugs and alcohol, they don't look like they having a good time.
They're always just like kind of chasing the high because they don't, like, they don't feel like at this point, like they don't feel like they're enough, and they always want to be like cooler or like just want to be around their friends more because like sometimes they need to escape whatever's at home or anything. So they be like, okay, I'll try it, and then they end up getting hooked.
Right. So let's go back to, because you just said something important right there. You said that they may feel like they're not enough. What does that mean?
Like with a whole bunch, like with everything that's going on in the world, like and with everything that's going on with like the teenagers themselves, like school, they're like in sports or like their grades, they would be like, oh, okay, I have an F, and like their parents will punish them for that, even though like they're trying their hardest, or like they lose a football game or something. They're just like, at this point, I'm mad and everything, and I like cannot be enough. So
you're saying like life disappointments or not being able to accomplish certain things make you feel like you're not enough? Makes teenagers feel like they got to find something to escape that type of pain. So, wow. So what else kind of pressures are teenagers dealing with? Because as a mom, the first thing a parent say, honestly, is like, listen, I'm the one got to put the food on the table. I'm the one got to go to work. I'm the one have to do all this stuff. Well, I'm not even going to say have to. I'm going to say I get the opportunity, because I'm changing my language, y'all. I get the opportunity to work to provide your food, shelter, and clothing, and emotional and intellectual needs. But what pressures are teenagers actually dealing with? Can you break it down, the pressures of a teenager?
well, there's like obviously academic pressure, and like you are trying to thrive inside of high school, and especially in like 10th grade and above, you're trying to figure out what college you want to go to and what you want to do after high school, which is like really complicated.
Okay.
And you're just trying to figure out what you like at this point. And then there's social pressure, like peer pressure, or like even though like it's not a big deal in the future, it's like kind of a big deal right now.
Okay.
Like a whole bunch of drama with your friends, or like just stuff being said about you online, like bullying.
Okay.
All of this happened, and like so it's just like it's kind of hard as a teenager to like try and figure this out, like, oh, okay, so my friend is doing this and obviously she's having a hard time, so I'm gonna go ahead and let her vent to me. And then they get that pressure, be like, okay, because I don't want my friend going through this and all that.
Oh, wow. So not only are teens dealing with the fact that life be life, and so you got the pressure of trying to figure out what you're going to be as an adult, trying to get your academics together and any other extracurricular activities that you got going on, but then you're also trying to be a good friend and listen to what your friend needs are. So then that's pressure right there, because and we just read the statistics, a lot of kids are going through a lot of things. So then does that then transfer to another, like to you perhaps, like say if your friend is going through something, how does that affect you as a teen?
Because like I don't like seeing my friend like this, and like not her usual like peppy self or anything, or like I don't know how it feels to go through it, but I know it's like probably gonna feel bad, and like that's just something you generally don't want to see the people around you go through.
Okay, wow. So you said something about bullying too. So when I grew up, as we always talk about my age or whatever, when I grew up, bullying was just literally, somebody's talking bad about you, in the community, at school, whatever, talking to one another, or either they, they might throw some rocks at you when you're walking down the street, stuff like that. Like, I remember being kicked a couple times, and I just waited till I just got so mad closer to my house and then start welling on people. But the bullying that you guys deal with is different. Like, you talking about online bullying? Like, break down online bullying for us a little bit.
Online bullying is like, well, I know for a fact, like one of my friends, she got her text leaked, like her text with a boy leaked. Like he screenshotted them and sent them to a page, or like there are a whole bunch of online accounts like dedicated to like exposing people.
Really?
If you would just like look up the school name, you'd be like, oh, bus snaps or like bathroom pics or anything like that.
Really? So wait, so there's online accounts dedicated to expose people, dedicated to expose, like, so you can look on there, you pull up the school, and you're gonna know what happened at the school, embarrassing moments, all this stuff.
Yeah, usually there's like a Google form, and it's like put your name if you want to, and then like it'll be like, oh, put down what you know.
What? So wait, can you say that a little louder for the people in the back?
Like there would be like a Google form, like, you know, put your name, your grade, and like what you know, like the drama that's going on. I know
Yo.
friends who've been on it. I've been on a couple, so it's just
You've done a couple, or you've
No,
been
I've
on,
been on a
I've
couple.
been on a couple. So somebody says some type of drama with you, and that document is all over the internet now.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. See, I had to deal with that when I was younger.
And then like I'm looking at it, and I like low-key feel bad for a lot of people because like they would say stuff like, oh no, she did this, and so now she's a skank, blah blah blah. She does this, or like what somebody's going through at home.
Right.
Like I saw one that said, oh, her parents beat on her.
What? So wow.
And a lot of people are like really ignorant on there.
Uh-huh.
Like I saw somebody say, I'm gonna rape so and so.
What? So these sites are not monitored by an adults or whatever.
No, they're like they're ran by kids at the school.
Wow. So most schools have these sites.
Mm-hmm.
You can just type in the school name, and you're gonna know what's going on at that school. So even personal information that the person is so that person who's being beat at home probably shared that with somebody, right? And then that person went and created a Google Doc, and now it's all over the place. Yo, that's pressure. So now it brings me to the point where we talk about the suicide in kids, right? Teenage suicide. Again, 60 has risen 61%. I know, right? I'm trying to get my words together, right? 61%. I think because I'm so hurt that it has, within the last 5 years, teen suicide ideations and suicide is at an all-time high. But now that you're talking to me, I'm hearing, and I can see why, though. So kids are so this is a new level of bullying. This is definitely a new level of bullying because I haven't experienced anything like this. So how do you deal with this type of stuff?
There's still like, you know, like people beating on each other, like, you know, but it's like not even throwing rocks at each other anymore. It's like grabbing them by their hair and like completely just like wailing on them.
Wailing on it. Okay.
And so like a way that we could like usually escape that is like, you know, through again drugs.
Uh-huh.
And or like some people get so bad to the point where they do commit suicide.
Wow. So I'm literally flabbergasted right now, like, because I didn't even know that there was that kind of stuff out there. I know bullying, you know, you said that they're not throwing rocks like they used to or whatever, but they're actually just really hurting people, like physically, almost like to try to kill somebody. It's like that's how much anger that's pinned up in teenagers, and that's sad because, you know, the teenage years are kind of like the best years, honestly, because you really don't have really much responsibility. Yeah, you have to kind of figure out what you're going to be doing for the next step, but these are times where somebody else is providing everything for you, and you should just be able to rock out and enjoy life. But you're dealing with so much heaviness at school that we as parents, we don't even know half of this stuff. Like, I've never even heard about no Google Docs and telling people business and stuff like that, which is a little sad, and I can see why. I can see why that's hurtful. You know what I mean? So another thing that we were talking about. So I see that the suicide and suicide ideations now. I see why. Okay. So even in sexual activity, because the stats said that, you know, one in 5 under the age of 15 already has sex. So what's going on in the sex thing, like?
So like around this age, you want to get a boyfriend or a girlfriend or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and so like obviously there's like kind of steps to that, and like eventually they're gonna be like, yo, do you send? And
Wait, what does that mean?
do you send nudes?
Do you send?
Yes.
And it's called send. It's basically, do you send nudes? So somebody will ask you that?
Or you can get unwanted nudes, or like you can or they would touch on you and you're obviously uncomfortable, so you would tell them to back off, but they don't. And there's also like, you know, rape. There's still like there's that, and there's all like they'll be like texting you at night, like and like talking very inappropriately to you towards you, and so like you're obviously like, and then because you like there's so much social pressure like to get a boyfriend or a girlfriend, you don't feel like blocking them.
Right, because you got the attention now.
Yeah, so you just kind of give in. And on top of that, most people like really like the attention of like, oh, this dude really loves me or this girl really loves me, so I should do it.
Wow. So peer pressure is pretty heavy. So it's it's like trying to be cool. Or I got a boyfriend, or I got a girlfriend, or
Like they would be like, oh, you haven't did this yet? Oh, that's just stupid. What are you, a kid? Oh, wow.
wow. Okay. So that's for boys and girls. Wow. And then we talked about the alcohol and the drug use. And so basically you're saying the reason why a lot of teens get into these dark areas and these trouble areas is either one, their home life is jacked up, or they might not even be so jacked up, but be some type of problems in the home. Two, want to get up the social ladder and don't feel good about themselves at all. So you try to find. So it's almost like you're looking for love in all the wrong places. It would make sense, right? So how do a teenager get through that? Because I mean, we've had open conversations, right? So you haven't tried any drugs, you don't drink alcohol, you don't get into these things. So what makes you, or any other teen who don't get into these behaviors, what makes y'all not do it? Because I mean, obviously the pressure's high. That's a high pressure.
I just keep thinking to myself, you know, that's like something stupid. Like, why would I sit there and well, I don't smoke because I have asthma. So
You don't smoke because you got asthma?
yeah, and like so, but like people smoke around me, and I'm not gonna like, you know, I'm cool with it, I guess. But like, it's just the fact that like if they're like, oh, you want to hit? I'm like, no, and then because I'm just constantly thinking to myself, that's stupid. Why would you sit there and ruin your body? Like, or why would you do that like underage? Like, wait till you're like 18 or something to do that. And also, I don't get why people do it at school, because that's just like stupid. I know like so many people have like had edibles at school.
Wow. So, okay. So you don't do it because, one, you got asthma. So then what about the drugs? Like, you don't do drugs because?
Actually, I see the way crackheads look.
You what?
I see the way crackheads look, and I think I'm too pretty for that.
You too good to mess up your body? Okay. So if you don't get into the drugs and alcohol, how do you deal with the other pressure, though? How do you deal with, because it's obviously, you just said that there's pressure, you know, academically, you know, sports pressure, you know, a lot of different social ladder pressure. Like,
I haven't really learned how to deal with it yet, but like most of the time, one of the things I do is like listen to music a lot, and or I take it out on like my hobbies, like I like cooking and acting.
right.
So that's just some stuff I take it out on.
Okay. So how does parents, right? How do we as parents help change the narrative of some of this? Because we've just read all these statistics, right? And literally your generation is dying left and right. Like, literally dying from the hands of someone else, the hands of themselves, or from some type of drug or alcohol use. Or how do we as parents, what, from your perspective, because as parents, we can tell you our perspective of what y'all need to do, what y'all don't need to do. But from your perspective, how do we as parents help change the narrative to move you guys forward so that you don't fall into what it is, not feeling like you're enough, feeling like you need to step into something else to try to make you feel better? Because it sounds like there's a lot of feelings involved, right? And there's a lot of emotional things going on and not the proper coping mechanisms to be able to handle the weight, right? Now, I'm not saying or trying to devalue the fact that you guys got stuff going on, because it's clear. I mean, the Google Sheet, I'm just appalled with the Google Sheet. Like, you looking at it like this is jelly stuff. Listen, I'm appalled with the fact that they out there putting people's business like that on the internet. Like, who came up with some idea to create something and say what you know?
There's like different accounts. There's like leaks and
So it's almost like the things that celebrities deal with, right?
Yeah.
The celebrities deal with all these leaks and stuff that people say about them and things like
Hoes, lookalikes, bops.
hoes. Okay. Flag. What's a bop?
Oh.
A hoe. Oh, this is new term. This is new terminology 101. Okay, teenage terminology 101. Hoes,
Leaks,
leaks,
bops,
bops.
like rumors.
Rumors. Oh, that's what this stuff is. Wow. Okay. So anyway, whew. As a mom, as a parent, how do we help changing the narrative? That's what I want to know.
Kind of just like understand, like remember when you were a kid, we have 8 hours of school, 8 classes, and like we have to do tests, we have to do assignments, and then on top of that, we have like social pressure.
Yeah.
And so like sometimes we just really don't feel like doing a whole bunch of stuff because we're so overwhelmed with like either academic pressure or social pressure.
Right.
Because it can be a lot.
Mhm.
And then we have to like, and then we come home and like, it's just like we're already getting yelled at or something, or we're already like getting like, I don't know how to explain it, but like, we're already getting yelled at, we're already getting like told to do a whole bunch of stuff, and we like just came from like a whole 8 hours of being
Oh,
awake
okay,
and
because I think
walking
we
around
dealt
everywhere.
that and we had this conversation before about, because again, in our mind as a parent, in our perspective is like, we talk about the household being taken care of, right? So you're saying like, after dealing with 8 hours of school, dealing with social pressure, and then you got to come home, you got chores to do, you got things that you still need to do, because life still be life, right? So you're saying that it becomes extremely overwhelming.
And because like we're children, we can't like, we don't know how to use that, like we don't know how to like deal with that overwhelming pressure.
Mm-hmm.
So like kind of just shut down most of the time.
Okay.
And like so like obviously so we won't get our stuff done because like oh, I don't feel like doing it because of this and this and that,
Right.
or like we usually make up excuses, or we like because we don't want to tell you what's actually going on.
Wow. So sometimes the pressure is so much, but you don't have that conversation because of fear, or
Like fear and trying to like keep your friend's business to you and your friends.
Oh, cause if you're a mom like me, you tell me something, I'm trying to go figure out what's going on with this friend, right? So okay, I can see that, trying to hold it on. So then you're taking the weight of the world. So as parents, what you're saying, that the parent side, we need to be a little bit more understanding. We need to have those open conversations. We need to maybe ask questions, or just have general conversations and then allow an open dialogue, or how do you?
Or like maybe go like, how was school? How was your day? It was either good or it was bad.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they'll be honest, but I'll be honest. Like if school was good, no, school was horrible, and like I don't really know, like, and I will get like I'm gonna get my stuff done eventually, but like it's like sometimes I'm gonna need like a break or something to like listen to music or like kind of unwind,
Right.
and like kind of like be like, oh, so that just happened today.
Oh, to process it. So I get it, because as parents, I'm quick to say, when I come in the house, can I get 5 minutes to myself? Can I get a couple minutes to myself? Because I'm really just taking a deep breath and try to digress, so I can come in and not put whatever the world had on me or whatever I was dealing with, put it on those in the house. So you're saying even as a teenager, though, dealing with that stuff outside, and when you come home, you just need a break sometimes. Not necessarily. And you know what? I do get it, because I think as a parent, though, sometimes we're so keen to making sure that things are done. Like, all right, you went to school 8 hours. Now it's time. You still got your chore to do every day, and it's almost like a rigid thing, like like bam, 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 and it's almost like you guys don't get a break. But honestly, I think that's how a lot of us been raised. A lot of parents been raised of like, there's just A, B, C, D, D, C, like all this stuff needs to get done before the end of the night, before you go to bed. But you're saying that as a teenager, because of the pressure, and I get it, because as an adult, the pressure's heavy too, right? So adults. So if we need to take time out for ourselves, right, before we get into A, B, and C, because life just be lifing. So what she's saying is that in the teen world, because we already heard of all the pressures, because the question was, why do kids have suicidal ideations? Why are kids wanting to commit suicide? What is going on, right? So we're having insight of the mind of a teenager to let us know, listen, these are the pressures that they're dealing with. Because as parents, we always say, and I've been guilty of it, you ain't got to do nothing but go to school and come home, get good grades. That's all I require you to do. Do a couple chores, right? But I think that now that I'm listening to it, it is really being desensitive. It's not being sensitive enough to the fact that there's so much pressure in the world for you guys. So I'm apologizing because I'm a strict, like, rigid type person, right? So I expect things to be done. But now that because the reason why we had this conversation tonight, people, is I was sitting with Danae, and we were doing our little talk, and we were just in the living room just having a conversation, and she was expressing to me the things that was going on in her life and the things that was going on in other people's lives. Danae constantly comes to me and asks me to pray for her friends, right? She'll tell me a situation, and she'll say, can you pray for my friend's mom? She's going through cancer. Or can you pray for my friend because they're dealing with this? Or my friend tried to commit suicide. Like, there's so many times that you have come to me asking me to help, but by the prayer standpoint of not actually physically getting in there, changing how people's lives are, but through prayer. So when we had our conversation, I was like, wow, that's a good conversation, because the question always is, why are kids don't want to be in this world? Because you guys haven't dealt with anything. That's in our mind. We're like, you guys ain't even been here. You only been here 15 years. What happened in this 15 years? The first 10 years I'm doing everything for you, you ain't really kind of think for yourself. Now that the 5 years you thinking for yourself, you don't even want to be here anymore? What's going on with that? But now it's just giving us some things to think about and understand that, like that. I mean, I couldn't even imagine what's going on in my house being posted on a internet and for everybody to see. Like, how, I don't even know how, as an adult, how I would kind of really deal with that, or if I've had some type of sex or anything like that, and now those pictures or those texts is now being exposed to the world when you confided in somebody. Like, how do you even know who to trust as a teen?
You don't. Like,
Oh, she said you don't.
Because I at this point, I'm just trying to help anybody who needs help. Like, I know somebody who was like, they were in the bathroom, and I'm not gonna say that, but like, I know somebody who, like, they called me because one of our mutual friends, they said that they were about to kill themselves. Okay. And so we went, and they were like in the middle of like about to walk out into traffic.
Oh wow.
And like, so the person who was like, the person who texted, like the person who was like getting told this, called me and was like bawling her eyes out, and like, I genuinely did not know what to do except just cry with her.
Oh wow. Wow. Do your school have like a suicide hotline or?
Well, at the end of like every email, like this one teacher sends out, she has like the number for the suicide hotline.
Okay. Wow, because it's that heavy. That's how many teens are deal with it. So what do you do besides, like, as you see? I can see that's pressure, because now you know somebody who's literally just walking in the middle of traffic to kill themselves, to get killed by a vehicle or something. Like, what do you do? Do you call it? Do you tell that person not to, or do you tell an adult? What do you do?
I tell the person, please don't do it. Like, you're enough. I will personally help you out. You can talk to me anytime you want. And then that person who's like getting told all this stuff is like, has a lot of pressure on them. Mm-hmm. Like, to be like, okay, because they would be like, oh yeah, no, I'm gonna kill myself right now. Or like, they get a text like 3 a.m. talking about I love you, which is like just kind of a clear sign that somebody's about to commit suicide. Mm-hmm. And like, it's just not fun. And like, I have in fact saw one of my friends like legit cut themselves in front of me.
Wow. So I need all types of flags on these plays right here, because I'm just thinking like, and I think it's probably not even just me as an adult. I consider myself pretty much open and understanding, But I'm just thinking like how other parents or don't even know this stuff is going on with their kids.
Most of the time, we don't like want to tell you necessarily.
Why?
Like fear of getting in trouble. Like, oh yeah, I know this dude. He was trying to pressure me into smoking, and I did it. Like, that's just something we would be scared to tell you. Or like this dude, he said he's going to commit suicide when he gets home, because then it just ends up like being a really big deal. Like, because it is a big deal, but like
Right.
we're going to try and handle it ourselves because it's really hard. It's really hard to open up to your parents. Like you would like. If you were a kid, you wouldn't go up to your parents like, oh, yeah, I know I'm having sex, I'm doing this, blah, blah, blah. Or, like...
Right. Because of the fear of because you know it's wrong, like you're not supposed to, and then the fear of what the discipline behind it may happen. So how do we fix that, though, Danae? I mean, I'm hearing you and I'm listening, but how do, other parents... Because I feel like we have a pretty good relationship, but now I'm thinking, like, it might be some stuff that you might not have been able to share with me because of, I don't know, how I might respond, right? Because I feel like you tell me a lot, though, now. So if somebody, honestly, because you told me when somebody offered you drugs and stuff before. So for a parent who don't have this open dialogue like we do, and which is not perfect, because I know that there's stuff that you still probably haven't shared with me, how do we get to have these conversations, though? Again, my thought is like, you guys are suffering, and we don't know that you're suffering. It's almost like you guys are suffering in silence, and parents only want the best for their kids, right? And we don't get it right all the time, but I'm so inclined to believe that no parent wants their child to kill themselves. No parent wants their child to get hooked on drugs. No parent wants their child to be out here sexing, texting, doing it, whatever, bopping, I don't know what you call it. No parent want their kid out here to be drunk. Like, because these things are harmful to the body and it's dangerous. So no parent wakes up and says, I wonder if my kid gonna get high today. Or I wonder if my kid gonna have sex in the school bathroom. Like, no parent thinks about it like that. I'm just saying. So it's almost like we're in the dark because we don't know these things are going on. But how do we have this open dialogue where there's a mutual trust between parents and their children, where no matter what happens, a conversation is still warranted? Like,
I still think, like, most teenagers, they're not going to tell you anything. But, like, you just kind of have to understand that, like, okay, like, this is like what they're going through. Like, they obviously have these school and social pressure. Like, just understand that we do have that.
right.
And or like, if your teen comes to you and like tells you this stuff, like, try your best to stay calm and everything.
Stay calm. I like that. And number one, try your best to stay calm. When you're about to get some crazy, you guys need to put a disclaimer out. Say, hey, Mom, I'm about to tell you some information. I don't want you to get upset about it. I need you to remain calm, but I'm coming to you. Y'all need to put a disclaimer, because sometimes y'all drop some information that is too hot to handle. And as a parent, you're just like, because we're in that protective mode, right? We're like, wait a minute. So number one, stay calm. Go ahead.
Because, like, at the end of the day, like, they're trusting you with this information that you, like, some people, like, they're better, like, they confide in their friends more than they confide in their parents.
Right.
Because they understand, like, they understand better, and they can give you good advice because, like, they are the same age as you, they're in the same grade as you, and, like, they know these people, like, and what you're going through.
So you think other teens could give teens better advice than their parents?
That's
what you say.
I don't know, because, like, some of them are more experienced, but, like, some of them have been through that.
Right.
Over, like, these teenagers, like, you can see that they're going from your perspective.
Okay.
Like, if I were to, like, I would confide in somebody, like a parent, and I would be like, so somebody at school is bullying me, or like, this is happening, and like, oh my gosh, this is happening. So, and then I ended up getting involved because of this, and like, they were like, okay, well, that doesn't matter. It's not gonna matter in the future. So like,
So sometimes we just brush it off. thinking that this is just in a moment, but you're saying that this moment is very important because this moment could change the trajectory of your life. Wow. So number 2, don't ignore. So we got stay calm and don't ignore when your child is talking to you, or don't devalue what you're saying. Okay, we got number 2. Stay calm. 1, stay calm. 2, don't devalue, don't ignore. Go ahead.
I would say 3 is to comfort them.
Comfort.
Some of them, because like some of the things can be really, really bad.
Right.
Like if they, like most of the time it's like it's extremely bad, and like we don't tell each other, but we don't tell like our parents, but we would tell like our peers.
Mm-hmm.
And if you do get the chance to like tell them that, you really need to comfort them, because it's like kind of mind blowing to like what happens to people.
Mm-hmm.
And so like, you know, there's like this one girl who like she had she was like doing drugs in the bathroom, and she like ended up collapsing and having a seizure.
Wow. So let me ask you a question. Because because in our house, you be in everybody's business, right? So when you in school, and if you see somebody who's doing drugs, like, what do you do? Like,
Ooh.
Whoa. You said, ooh, and you walk away?
It like really depends on who the person is, to be honest. Like, you know, if it's like one of my friends or people, I'm like, oh, okay, I still want to talk to you, but I'm not going to do the drugs that you're doing.
Right.
Like, you know, or like if they don't, I'm like, girl, you like.
So do you encourage them not to do it, or do you no, why not?
Because I just kind of mind my business, to be honest.
Wow, so it's almost like you turn a blind eye.
It really just depends on what drug they're doing. Like, most kids, like, you know, they vape. So, like, I don't like this. Like, okay. At this point, I don't care. Because, like, everybody's doing it. I'm not going to be able to, like, I'm not going to say, I'm not going to be able to do about it, like, everything. And I'm obviously not going to tell them. Because that's just, like, you, again, going down the social ladder.
Oh, so you can't even report it because... So literally you're sitting... All right, so somebody's vaping. Okay, so you're saying vaping is not that bad, but there's a lot of stuff that goes into vapes that really...
Well, it's, like, not the worst one that I've seen.
If we got a choice in drugs, vape is the one we do.
Because, like, I've seen somebody do, like, a line of coke.
Oh, God. Flag on the play. I don't even... Okay. So, okay, flag. So, if you're seeing somebody doing a line of coke, what do you do?
I gasp.
You gasp.
I'm like, are you serious? I'm like, are you okay? And then, like, you know what? They're like, I'm fine. And I leave.
Jesus.
Because, like, they do it in class. Like, some of them do it in class. Like,
They could do it in class?
Yeah, they have, like, their little leadership. No, I'm not going to say that because they have their, like, little card or something. Like,
in class. Wow. So one of
kids are
the...
wild these days. Like, why would you do it? Like, I'm not going to try and, like, pressure you to not do that because at the end of the day, it's your life choice. And, like, if you want to mess up your body, go ahead, mess up your body. But, like, I'm going to judge you, like, but silently. And, like, you know, at the end of the day, okay, like, you can do what you want to do, but, like, you should know you're most likely going to die.
Should you tell them they will most likely die?
No, like, because
you mind your business.
I mind my business. And then, or, like, if sometimes I joke around with them, like, girl, watch you die. And then, like, they take kindness.
So it's all right. So not only all right. So here, let me just try to get myself together because I got all types of flags coming out right now and very concerned about a lot of things. So not only that you're dealing with the peer pressure, but then you also have the pressure of not even saying anything. Like you're literally watching somebody kill themselves, but you can't say anything because one, you may go down on the social ladder. Like, you know, you might be quote unquote labeled as a snitch or, you know, something like that. So it's just like, how do you help? Like, how do you help your friends? Like, you just ignore them?
I don't ignore them. I'm just like, okay, you, like, because I'm not going to ignore you. I'm going to be like, you can do what you want to do, but I'm not going to do that. Like, you can sit here and you can kill yourself, but I'm not going to say anything about it because, like, again, it's your life. And, like, most people are like, oh, you're such a B word. Like, how could you sit there and say that? Like, obviously, I know I'm doing it. You know, like, okay, then go ahead. You do it then. Like,
wow. Do you think that kids need not kids? I'm not calling y'all kids anymore because y'all you're teenagers. I mean, putting on a line of coke. I mean, that's a lot. That's a little straight. Do you think that y'all need like some like a social group to help? Like, I think I need an anti-drug task force now.
Nobody cares. Like people are gonna still do drugs no matter what. Even like there can be like anti-drugs like DARE program. Like they're still gonna do.
Yeah,
drugs.
I remember DARE. DARE program was what kept me off of drugs. I'm trying to tell you. And seeing people in my family be on drugs. DARE program, I remember. I'll never forget. I think I was in like 6th or 7th grade. They brought this thing out. They had now it's different drugs that y'all got now.
Most people like they just like kind of like, oh, I'm not gonna do the hard drugs. I'm just gonna stick to like most people they stick to either nicotine or weed. Like that's the thing they stick to. They don't do anything more than that. There's like about 2% of people who do like the hard drugs like perks and cocaine and crack and ew.
Yeah. Wow. I just think this is a scary world out here, parents. This is very scary. And I see why, we always say that there's a couple different ways of parenting, right? A lot of times we parent out of fear, right? Because we don't want our kids to do too much, but then sometimes we hold them back so much where we don't allow them to stretch. But it's so much stuff out here of why, why we want to protect our kids.
At the same time, when you do that, you also have to trust them because, like, it really depends on what you feel like. Of like, if you're an extrovert and like you're like, okay, I don't want to snitch on anybody because then I'm losing all my friends, and like I genuinely don't want to be without people.
You don't want to be out with no friends, okay?
And like on like there's parties and everything, and so like that's just something they don't want to miss out on their teen life, and so like that's like when you at the point where oh, I know my kid will never do drugs, so like I'm not gonna.
But I don't think any parent think their kid's gonna do drugs. I don't think. Oh, you think some parents know that their kids? I mean, why did you look at me like that? You think parents? Okay. You think some parents know that their kid is going to do drugs or alcohol? You think that they already have some type of inclination or something like that their kids is going down the wrong path or something?
I'm not necessarily going to say like oh, okay, be cool with the fact that your kids are going to do drugs and alcohol, but just be like, okay, I'm going to have this talk with you. Mm-hmm. If you do this, if you drink alcohol, you're legit going to mess up your body, and like so don't do it. And it's like they do it, and they're going to eventually going to learn that oh, I'm not going to do this anymore because
right.
like this is like messing up my body. But like still have the trust in them that like I'm my kid's not gonna do this because I've already.
You just told me that kids out here doing crack and snorting a line of coke in class, and you telling me to tell parents to trust their kids. I don't even know how to even begin to say, you know what? Let your kids go out there and explore. They may do coke and they may not. I don't know what to tell you. Like, how do you want me? Like, cause you literally just drive some.
Like, let your I'm not gonna say like sit here be okay with the fact that oh my kids doing coke. I'm like you gotta sit there and discipline them because like that's something they need to be whooped.
They need to be whooped for doing coke. They need to be whooped.
But like at the end of the day, they're teenagers. They're gonna try stuff.
But you sit here, see that's the other concern
and
here.
I don't get why people do coke, like, cause it's like that's just nasty, to be honest. Like,
but you're telling me that a lot of teenagers do this stuff, and parents need to trust them.
A lot of teenagers just like they don't do hard drugs because that's like the thing that they're scared of.
They're scared of. Okay, so let me ask you a question because I'm trying to wrap my head around this conversation. I don't even know if I wanted to be inside the teenage brain tonight. I feel like I done bit more of the apple than I'm able to chew tonight. I'm just got a lot of stuff going on, a lot of stuff in my mind, but I'm still just stuck on the fact that, so basically, because, the stats are here, though. One of the things that she's not doing is lying. And what I understand that, because, like, I'm reading it, I read the stats, right? And I'm going to read these stats one more time, okay? I'm going to read these stats one more time, and then we're going to go back to Danae. Because 85% of high school students experience peer pressure. Peer pressure is what we already talked about, right? 28% of teens say that they've given into peer pressure to move up the social ladder, right? For clout. Well, she said I can't say clout, for attention. 1/3 of teenage boys felt pressure to engage in sexual activities. 23% of teenage girls felt pressure to engage in sexual activities. 1 in 5 teens have had sex before the age 15. By age 15, 1 in 3 teens have had one or more alcohol drinks, right? Drug use is at a 61% among 8th graders. Suicide is the second leading cause of death among young people aged 15 to 24. Nearly 20% of high school students report serious thoughts of suicide, and 9% have actually made an attempt on taking their life. So what we're talking about tonight, we're talking about some serious stuff, y'all. Like, I may joke, I may laugh, and I'm talking, because I'm literally appalled, right? I'm really just like kind of out of my element, because I thought I knew some stuff. But I'll have new information tonight, and it's very concerning, because a lot of times as parents, we don't know what's going on. We don't know that I never knew that there is a daggone document you could put on the internet, and now the whole world knows your child's business. I never knew that. I never knew. You had a conversation with me where you said that somebody was in the bathroom having sex and somebody videoed them, and now that video is everywhere. Like, just stuff that didn't happen in our younger years. And because we didn't have social media too, and I think we knew that our parents was gonna kick our behinds if we did some of this stuff. So I think that has played a part in it. But just sitting here with you, Danae, is really just like mind-boggling. It's like that we have to change the narrative. We don't want young people to die, right? So just thinking about how we can help.
At the end of the day, they're not going to tell you most stuff. Like, teenagers are not going to tell you most stuff. Like, that's just something you would have to accept, kind of. Because
I'm taking a deep breath. So you're telling me most parents need to accept that their kids going to do what they do no matter what, and they're not going to talk to you about it?
basically. Because, like...
Okay, I got you. So we had this conversation, and because I'm asking you why, you haven't fallen into the traps of drug, alcohol, sex, and all those things. One of the things that you told me, though, was about your faith, right? Mm-hmm. Why? Let's talk about that before we roll out. Let's talk about...
I have, I have been really working on my relationship with God. Mm-hmm. And so, I know, you're supposed to have a sober mind. You can't have a sober mind when you're high.
Right? Yeah, okay, yeah.
There's just, a lot of stuff. I used to be, extremely angry. Mm-hmm. And I realized, there's a couple verses in the Bible about, not letting the anger get the best of you.
Right.
So that's just something I've been working on.
Okay. So do you think teenagers lack faith?
Most of them. I don't associate myself with those people.
So it's about who you hang around?
Yeah, it's kind of about who all my friends, they're Christians.
Okay.
Or they have some type of faith, and it doesn't matter on which, because I'm not going to discriminate over your religion, but most of them, they have faith.
Right.
Into a higher power. So they're obviously not going to do a whole bunch of stuff.
Right, because they have a different standard. So you're saying, so it sounds to me it's we need to get this generation to get some faith in God. People can't see you. You're shaking your head, yes. But because you're saying that your faith is what keeps you grounded, and not to get it, and not saying that this pressure doesn't come to you, but your faith has really have taken over where you don't allow yourself to get into this stuff. So you're saying that a lot of teenagers don't have faith, so that's how they're able to fall in the trap? That,
and just the fact that they don't care anymore, and they they're kind of chasing that that life you see in the movies, oh, I want to go to parties, I want to drink, I want to smoke, I want to do this, and blah blah. Because they're always gonna be out chasing a dream that they're probably they can get, but it comes with consequences at the end of the day.
Right. I was teaching Bible study last night, and one of the things that I was saying is that we really have to be careful of what we watch and what we hear and who we hang around.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Because eventually that stuff will infiltrate, right? That stuff you become that. So if you're saying that you want to live your best life and you don't want to get involved to A, B, and C, you can't hang around people that's doing A, B, and C. Right?
I still hang around people who do that stuff. I just I just know within myself I don't want to do that, and I'm not going to do that. You can sit there and do that, but I don't care. But I care, but not really.
I don't think I'm gonna sit there and let you smoke crack in front of my face, though. As a friend, like
Why would I let somebody smoke crack?
I mean, you say. I'm just saying because you said.
I said somebody I know smokes crack.
Oh, you don't let them smoke in front of you.
I don't know.
Oh, here I thought you were saying you watching people do
I wish somebody would. I wish somebody would.
Because I'm just like, I can't see my friends going down the wrong path and me not saying anything. Right?
I feel like at the end of the day, like you're gonna know, like, well, it's like kind of because you're older.
Oh, here we go.
Like, you know, like, okay, like, because you don't think anything of it because at this point, I'm not, like, this is going to sound, like, really stupid, but, like, everybody's doing it. And there's, like, not much you can do about it because they're already set in stone or, like, oh, yeah, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, blah, blah, blah. Like, they're already set in stone in their mind that, okay, I'm going to do this. So, like,
I'm still inclined to believe that if you get around somebody who's not doing this and they're positive, that they can share their light on you and you begin to not want to do these things.
that sometimes happens. But, like, you know.
I mean, a 15-year-old set in stone to do some coke, like, I don't think that's, like, I think that's changeable. Like, that's reversible.
I'm pretty sure it was, like, her first time doing coke, too. Because she started coughing and everything. She's like, never again, I bet.
You said never again, I bet.
She went to the bathroom, she threw up.
Wow. So, all right, before we wrap this thing up, that we're going to go back to the things that you said that we as parents can help change the narrative in these situations. Now, I read the statistics, and they're quite frightening. You know, they're really like my heart is dripping right now because of the information I received tonight. So we as parents, we need to, 1, remain calm. You told us. 2,
Comfort.
wait, 2 wasn't comfort. 2 was don't devalue or don't ignore.
Oh,
right?
ignore. I was about to say inform.
Inform. 3 is comfort. And if you do something that you're not, if you come to a parent and you do something that you're not supposed to do, we should honor the fact or appreciate the fact that you came to us.
Obviously, like, discipline them if they did something stupid. Like, you know, oh, like, oh, ma, hey, I tried to crack rock today. Like, you obviously should be like, okay, pause, back up. Where'd you get it? How, like, do you like it? And I'm taking you behind a rehab.
Right away.
Like, or like, I'm like, because I feel like crack is like kind of, again, whooping level.
Okay.
Because you're legit endangering yourself.
Right, okay.
Like, take away their phone or something. Like, well, like, okay, not take away their phone all the time. Because, like, no.
Girl, this
Oh,
phone.
sorry, I got distracted. Like,
all right, so we're supposed to be open to the conversation and we're supposed to comfort in the conversation.
listen, like, you're supposed to listen.
Listen.
And then, like, depending on how bad it is, like, discipline them. Like, first of all, say thank you for coming to me with this, and I legit thank you for trusting me with this. But, like, you know that was wrong, so you will get disciplined.
Because I think, you know, because even if, say for example, you went to a party, which I don't allow you at a party, but you went to a party. Why are you making faces? I'm not going to say you did crack that night. I'm just saying,
Like, why can't I go to party?
Why can't you go to parties? Because you just told me they don't line the crack at parties. That's why.
They didn't do it at a party. They didn't even clap.
So, say you went to a party, right, and you decide to either intentionally or non-intentionally, because you're saying that they spike drinks and stuff too. So, if you go to a party and somebody spiked punch or something like that, and you start to feel a particular way, what would you do?
I would call somebody. I would, like, well, because, you know, there's some people who, like, you know, they have a car and they're like, okay, I know somebody, like, one of my friends, like, older friends, like, okay, if you ever get in trouble, call me. And so, like, that's just something I would do. And then I would eventually tell you, like, this happened and I apologize.
But
And
I feel like
it wasn't it wasn't on purpose. It was completely by an accident.
right.
And I'm not, like, and I'm never going to do it again.
Right. So I think that as a parent, when our children come to us with this information, maybe it was intentional or non-intentional, we have to be still able to comfort them. Even though we know that was wrong, But I think having that open communication where they're able to come to us and tell us, and then we can still take corrective measures for that. But we want them to always be able to, if they get in a situation, be able to call home. Like, the door is never closed, the phone is never off the hook where, you know, you can't call whenever you end up in a bad situation. Because sometimes we get in situations don't even realize they're going to be bad. You know, like, even if you go into the movies with, you know, you said that sometimes guys are a little bit more touchy-feely and they start to force you into things. So even if they're not aggressively trying to take your body, but sometimes you feel like, sometimes people feel like they need to engage in it just to avoid other things, right? So we as parents have to be open to those conversations so that we provide safety. Like, no matter what situation you get yourself in, I'm going to be upset about it, but my number one priority is your safety and your comfort. So that's what you're saying. Make that a priority, like, before we go off the deep end.
Yeah, because I know a friend, like, he vapes, like, but one time he got laced.
His vape got laced, okay.
Oh, his weed pen got laced.
His weed pen, okay, whatever, okay, it got laced.
And so, like, he had to call his mom, and his mom ended up, like, you know, like, his mom, like, yelled at him and everything, and, like, kind of, like, really, punished him, and he, like, got his phone taken away for, like 4 or 5 months. And even though it was, like, completely unintentional, and like,
Wait, but did his mom know he vapes? Oh, well, I mean, well, she didn't even know he was vaping.
Well, the only thing she knew is, like, he got laced, and that's, like, a really scary situation to get laced or to get spiked or get drugged, because, like, you know, that's just, like, something you don't want to go through, like, especially if, like, you're a person that doesn't do drugs and you get laced, like, the first time you want to, like, kind of explore or something,
right?
That's, like, so scary, and, like, you're just, like, kind of, like, freaking out at that point. And so, like, you know.
So making sure we have these open conversations. Okay. Well, thank you for coming on the show. Everybody know this is my daughter. This is the one that tests my inner gangster. You know, I thought it was important to have this conversation because Danae has some great insight on what's going on. And although you and I have our mother and daughter issues at times, but I still feel like the communication is still on point because you let me know when certain things are going on and what's concerning you. And I just wish that other teams were able to kind of do that for their parents so that, you know, we want to be on the game. We want to make sure that our kids are, you know, not just surviving. I mean, we've seen these numbers. They said age 15. Like, 15, I'm trying to think what I was doing at 15 years old. Like, I was not thinking about, I don't even think I knew what the word lace was at 15. I didn't know what the word lace was. I think it wasn't until my adulthood when I found out what actually laced me. So the fact that these conversations and these behaviors are going is quite concerning. But I certainly appreciate you, Danae, for being open and transparent and candid to give us some insight of how we can better assist our children, right? But we as a parent, we want you guys to do something too. Just keep communicating with us, though, honestly.
And no right from wrong, obviously.
And no right from wrong, yeah, and no right from wrong. Thank you guys for joining Parenting with a Purpose tonight, where, again, my aim is to bring back the responsibility, nobility, and beauty back into parenting. Parents are our bows and our children are our arrows, and they will land wherever we send them as long as we equip them, right? As long as we don't send our kids out here naked, so then they start picking up things to try to, as Danae was saying tonight, as to making themselves know that they're enough, or try to climb the social ladder, or any of these things that we need to instill in our kids before they walk out in these streets. We need to close them with confidence. We need to close them with love. We need to close them with things that they know that they are enough. So right now, we talk about teen suicide and how it's at an all-time rate. We just got some information tonight, parents. We just got some insight of why it's that way. So we need to change the narrative. We need to get that responsibility, the nobility, and that beauty back into parenting, because at the end of the day, we want our kids to survive. We want our kids to thrive. So whatever it is, build a village, build a community, communicate with our children so that they feel comfortable enough to let us know, no matter what the situation or circumstance is, that we have their back. That's the same way we have with God, right? He wants us to communicate with him and that we know that he always got our back. So our children need to know that we always have their back. So join us again every Thursday at 7 p.m. for Parenting with a Purpose.